they turn the party out. I'm about to wreck your body as they turn the party out.
Hello and welcome to another edition of A Vibrant Mix with Tasha, Tamiko, and Fred. I'm Tasha here on TLC Talk Radio. I'm really excited about my new studio still. And today, and we have a lot of wonderful guests in the building. We'll start off with a friend of A Vibrant Mix, our girl, Mother Love McPherson. You all are natural, like I ain't have to post that, nothing. And so we always, as you know, talk about the state of the black relationship. And so we thought we'd kind of pose some questions to Love tonight and just kind of bug her and get on her. I have some questions, but you know, I'll leave it for my guests. So with us tonight, of course, are me, Tamiko, and Fred, but Miss Vanessa Avery, Miss Anita, and Mr. and Mrs. Yolanda, Gerald and Yolanda Battle.
Representing for the married.
Right. So we did open an extended and was accepted invitations by two single men, but unfortunately life prevailed and they're not able to join us. But this won't be the only time, you know, that we'll have a discussion like this. So let's start with Love. And let's talk about who you are. Like, so I know you, Fred knows you, Tamiko knows you. They don't know you.
Okay, relationship coach, and I work with couples. I work with singles who want to be a couple, singles who don't want to be a couple. I've been married to the love of my life for 33 years. It'll be 34 May 6th. I have two beautiful daughters and
two beautifully hilarious daughters.
Yeah.
So we have a married couple in the house. We won't put you on the spot first. We thought about playing a newlywed game with you, but it's probably pretty silly. So ladies, you all, it sounds like we're all kind of in the same situation. We are looking to be in that long-term relationship, hopefully that leads to marriage. I don't know. I don't want to assume that. Yes. Y'all hear those resounding yeses? Yes. And so, what can you think of? What would you ask a relationship coach like you? If you could ask the magic question, what would that sound like?
What am I doing wrong? I just want to know, because I've been single, I say, for like over 10 years. I've had a couple of relationships that might have lasted like maybe 8 months or maybe up to a year, but sometimes I don't even count those, you know, so I just say single for 10 years. So I just don't know, you know, you do all the right things and, you know, you set your standards and, you know, you just be yourself, and it just seems very hard, especially for a middle-aged, successful black female with an outgoing personality. Not ringing my own bell. I'm just saying it seems like I've been told you're too outgoing. You're look like you're high maintenance. Just different things. So it's just like, okay, what is the problem?
Okay, so let me just ask a few questions, all right? When you start asking me about what's wrong, I have to, kind of probe a little bit. Okay, so let's look at your last 2 relationships. Why did they end? And it could just be, I don't want a long story, just kind of, was it betrayal? Was it just walked away? What happened?
Last 2. You know what? The last 2, both of them got caught lying.
Okay.
Like big lies.
Okay, big lies.
Yeah.
Was it infidelity lies or?
The first one was infidelity lies. The second one was, I guess you could say infidelity, just lying about the person they were. They say they was a nurse. They weren't a nurse. About their career. They lied about where they lived. Just lied about everything.
Double life?
Double life.
Okay. Okay.
And you dodged that bullet.
Yes. Right. I screamed. I mean, it was very short. It was like a month, but because I'm pretty inquisitive, I'm not saying I put anyone on an interview, but when you tell me something, I don't forget what you say. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, well, first you told me you were in nursing school getting your grad degree, and I'm like, okay, when do you go to school? When do you take classes? And all these questions, I've been a nurse for 17 years, so like, you can't lie to me about that. Okay. So it's just things fell through, and I'm like, oh God. Here we go.
What about before that?
I was dating someone and I thought we were very compatible. He thought we were very compatible. He kept telling me that we were dating and we were, what was his wording? He said that we were dating each other monogamously, not dating anybody else, to see where we were going, because the next step he wanted to do was marriage. The only reason we were not in a relationship is because of his career. He was thinking about moving out of town, and he wanted to make sure we were going forward to see, because he said if we were going out of town, he wanted me to go with. But come to find out, I got a little information that he was dating me and others, but he was the one that said we were exclusive. His words were exclusively dating. I'm not dating anybody else, just you.
Okay. So, okay, a lot of times what ends up happening is this. We end up with a series. If you look back at your relationship, you'll find even sometimes a pattern. Mm-hmm. And you are constantly attracting liars. You're attracting people who are promising you, making promises that you won't keep. And I wouldn't say that you're a liar, but I'm wondering if you lied to yourself before they ever get to lie to you. Do you see red flags and then you lie to yourself and say it'll be okay? Because you attract who you are, not who you want. So you have to stop and say, am I being truthful? Because the question we have to ask ourselves is, when we see those red flags, can my love cover that? When we look at those people, do you continue to prolong the relationship and pretend you don't see it? Especially since you have a photographic memory. Mm-hmm. Do you see stuff? You're able to calculate. You're able to assess. Your career makes you watch and be very observant of little things, symptoms. You see symptoms of things before they ever tell you. You got to be honest. You got to be honest and walk away and not decide that it's hard, I'm older, I'm successful. None of those things. Be truthful to yourself. Be loyal to yourself. And so somebody will be loyal to you. But I'm telling you, don't jump in. Watch. Be vigilant and dare to walk away, because you deserve better. And just that has to be standard. The other thing I want you to do is go way back, all the way back, and I don't know anything about your childhood or anything like that, and make sure that there was not somebody in your life who was a liar and who was a cheater, and maybe even you loved that person, even say it was a relative or something, and then you decided that they're still a good person. Well, if you have decided I want a good man, and that person was a good man, you have decided you will still select cheaters, because you have decided that a good man is a cheater, and it'll be subconscious. We select subconsciously, so make sure your subconscious selections don't take you someplace that you wouldn't want to consciously go.
It seems like as you get older, and you get in your 30s, and you become selective like that, then people start to label you as being picky, or your standards are too high, or I've heard you ask too many questions. That men don't like you to ask all those questions, and I'm like, you need to know these things. And they make it almost label you as being difficult, when really you just want to know what's going on, find some clarity. You're not asking a lot of questions as if you're in an interview, but you have some standards and you see things. And so how do you shape that?
Questions and transparency is earned as the relationship continues. Mm-hmm. That's very important, because if I come in here and I don't know you, and you've opened yourself up to me far beyond, if I was just sitting on a bus with you, or even if I just went out with you as a co-worker, you've opened yourself up. You begin to tell me about your dates, all the kind of stuff. But you know what? You had to allow me that privilege in your life, and I earned it to you because I'm a relationship expert. But a date at coffee does not give you exclusivity of everything about me until I feel you're worth opening up to. And I'm not going to do that unless I feel you're safe. You have to create a safe place. And so if I don't feel you're safe, I'm not going to open up to you. And so what I want to say is this. When you come to a guy, if you come with the feeling of, and it's an approach and an energy where you say, what do I have to lose? Like, Trump style. What you got to lose? Mm-hmm. You just, you feel like if it's okay or not. you know what ends up happening? You take on a whole different attitude at that lunch. You feel like, I don't have to impress you. I can be who I am, and you make an educated choice. That don't mean you don't comb your hair, because that's just your standard. You know what I'm saying? It's a relaxed. It's not a, let's see if you're going to hurt me, because I've been hurt. Because if you come with walls, you can fill those walls. If you come with anxious, well, what about this? And what about this? You're like, wait, it's just a coffee. You understand? So just relax, enjoy the presence of a person, and then if you decide we like that, we can go further and continue to create safety in the relationship, and then we'll open up to different things until you get where you want. You don't have to ever commit to that person. You want to get there before you make the commitment, but you don't have to rush it. Relax.
Rhonda.
Okay.
It's just like I think as I increase in age, it's just like, I'm not going to say, sometimes you can feel like timing is of the essence.
Mm-hmm. Patience.
Yeah, and I don't have patience. I don't. So it's just like, so now I find myself like kind of, once I see those red flags, I just like, oh, okay, have a good day. And I just kind of move on to the next thing. And I'm starting to relax a little bit more. It seems like I just turned 40 probably like 3 weeks ago, and I've changed so much in that 3 weeks. So it's just like.
But impatience can bring out the worst in the other person. So you may not necessarily see the person for their best side. But if right now anybody in this room here begins to say, when are we supposed to be finished? It changes the atmosphere. I said anxiousness and impatience changes the energy in a room. Because if we stand in there and say, what time is it? Is it finished? I got to do this. I'm hungry. If anybody, one person, it change. I'm not saying that's what you do. I'm just saying if it feels impatient, or anything you're doing that feels anxious, brings something of a, depending on where they've been wounded, if they've been rejected, you're throwing off rejection to them. So what you think may be rejecting you, but sometimes it could be self-sabotage where you're rejecting them long before, or you're poking the bear or poking the wound in order to trigger things, and not maybe consciously, but you're triggering wounds and they're reacting. So you still have to be very conscious of, I'm telling you, if I could just get single women to go in a room and say, what have I got to lose? I'm just going to relax. And if you like me, you like me. But right now, I'm just going to enjoy the moment. I'm just enjoying a coffee with you, and I'm getting to know you. Not in a way of, are you the right one? Because he's not coming in committing to be the right one. It's just, I wonder who this person is like. And that's it. Simple.
No, that's a great point, and I want to keep the conversation kind of circular.
know, yeah.
Is that something is that the approach you all took as a married couple?
When Love was talking about being safe and feeling safe enough to share, it immediately came to my remembrance the first time Gerald met my children. So we were going out for about 5 months. Now he knew when we first met that I had kids already, but it was 5 months until I felt safe enough and comfortable enough for him to. It just gonna push him away to see these 3 kids, and so for everyone to get together, and I was safe and everyone was comfortable, and I was the one who was freaking out about it more than anybody else was. But it was that safety fact. I felt safe enough then when we went to dinner at Applebee's, I think. Yeah.
It was well, on the first date, like we was discussing, that's when she first told me. She's like, oh, I got 3 kids. I'm like, okay. She's like, is that a problem? I was like, I ain't pushed you out the car yet. We gonna finish this date. It's okay. She was just like, okay. She was thinking, okay, that's it. It's like, no. And when you were discussing first dates were like the coolest thing. It's just getting to know somebody. A lot of people put a whole lot of emphasis on the first date. Oh, what my last name look like? Oh, And it's like, it's a first date.
Chill.
Women can sometimes put a whole lot of emphasis on, guys would be like, I'm just getting to know you. Okay? And you start throwing stuff, we'd be like, okay, this ain't gonna be no second. Because we just want to get to know you. It's the first date. Like I said, coffee. We just get to know each other. Don't put everything out there. Some people do that. I got this and that. Okay. Nice talking to you.
Men are
Check.
starting to do that too.
Yeah. Huh?
Men are starting to do that. The last 2 relationships that I was speaking of that I got into, the first person, we went out on a date and he was like, I'm just letting you know I'm dating. I'm looking for a wife, not a girlfriend.
Okay.
This is what I want. And I was like, oh, okay then. Well, we're somewhat on the same path, but can I have some, salad first? So he was actually doing it. The last guy I dated, I'm thinking like the first date, he had already had us, he was already coming to my family reunion, had us in a relationship. Week 2, he was talking about like being married, and I was like, oh my God, like this is like, what is going on here? I had red flags because I said something is wrong. He's like, I think I love you. Oh my goodness. So it was like, it's just not women.
And what was the truth?
What was
did
the
you were
truth?
feeling?
Yeah.
The truth, I was like, something's wrong with
Were
her.
you true to yourself in that moment, though?
You know what? I knew, but then, you know
and
what?
You lied to yourself.
I lied
so
to
you
yourself,
attracted
and then
a liar.
sometimes your surroundings,
Yes.
like, maybe your friends, they be like, oh, well, maybe they're different. Like, maybe, sometimes your surroundings can be your own worst critics. They'll just be, what do we say, send you off?
Yes.
Vanessa, I'm coming to you next, but that reminds me, and I think I don't know if I told you, but I told you about the guy I went out with, that my realtor friend, I should smack her every time I think about it. She sent me out a guy who said, well, I'm selling my house and I'm looking to meet someone who, I can just move in and pay the bills because I'm not ready to look for it. And I was like, what?
I'm looking to move.
Excuse me, check please.
No, I wasn't taking a check. I said, well, so, and it was, like you said, it was from here to there. And I don't know, maybe I watch Forensic Files way too much. But that's immediate flags. Like, I don't like anything like that, and I don't park next to white vans. That's not what I do. But you're right. That flag is there. Being true to yourself. I know that I've lied to myself a lot. It takes maturity to recognize it, and then a different maturity to own it. Yeah. Vanessa, it looks like you had a question.
I wouldn't say that I have a question. I have a lot of things floating on in my mind. I'm probably the youngest one here.
Yeah, she's like 20. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm in my 30s. And I don't even know where to begin. Like, I've had these similar situations. I definitely, like my last relationship, I definitely lied to myself about that one. I would say in my adult age, I had 3 real relationships. One was 5 years. Definitely lied to myself about that one. I was very, very young. I was maybe 23 when I met this guy, and he was 6 years older than me. I was very insecure within myself. He treated me like a queen. So I was like, well, no one else is going to treat me like this queen, so let me roll with this brother, even though I'm not really feeling him like that. That was really where I was. Of course, I didn't tell him that. Sure. With confidence, you attract more people because you exude this certain energy where you're attracting more people because you're confident in yourself. So I'm attracting other people. I'm like, wait a minute, I can do better. And so then I got to this crossroad where it's like, well, am I being selfish? Or do I really want something else? Turns out I really did want something else. I was like, let me take a step away and see what I really want. And let me see if I'm going to miss him. And I never missed him. So that was that situation. I felt really bad about it, but he knew I was insecure though. He did know I was insecure, and I think that says something about a guy that picks up an insecure woman is that when she does become secure, then what happens? So that was that. The next one, the next guy was the guy that I really thought I was going to marry. Everyone thought I was going to marry this guy. Everybody. He thought I was going to marry him. I thought I was going to marry him. My family did. His family did. His best friends thought, everyone in the world thought we were going to get married. When we broke up, it was like the world came to an end for everyone was like, what? It's like, what happened?
First the fat boys break up.
Right, now it is.
Who ended the relationship?
He did. What happened was, in our relationship, I loved that relationship. And what I loved about that relationship was that we both had an interest for always doing new experiences. Whether if it was something simple as going to a magic show or going to a new restaurant or what have you. Like, we were always very open-minded about doing new things, you know. So I love that about our relationship. I love that both of our families like took us in, and we were both like deeply involved in each other's families. To this day, like, his family still loves me and reaches out to me. We never argued, in a sense that, not to say that we didn't have disagreements, but we never argued. We would have a disagreement, we would go back and forth, talk it out until we worked it out, but we never argued. But until the end, I just kind of noticed like this weird, he just started acting really weird. And I knew, and at that time, I did remember his grandmother had passed away, his sister was newly pregnant, and it was out of wedlock. And even though she was a little bit older, it was still kind of like, you know, his family was a little bit strange about it. He was looking for a promotion at work. He didn't get it, and it was just a lot of other things. So I call myself being the understanding girlfriend. Like, well, I understand you're going through these different obstacles in life. I'm here. And he took that. He's like, I see myself going into a dark place. I don't know where that's going. I need to break up with you before you hate me. So he breaks up with me. I'm like, what? And at first I understood. I was like, well, if he's not comfortable with himself, then I can understand why he can't be with me. But then he got with another girl 4 months later. Like, we broke up in May. And I would say maybe it was more than 4 months. But he met her 4 months after me. So they met in September. She was a cousin of a coworker. And they were officially a couple in December. And that really broke my heart. Because I was like, well, if we were in love and you love me, and if what you say is true, then it shouldn't have been so easy for her to come into this situation. To this day, he still, like we've been in touch with each other. To this day, he still sticks by what he said. He's like, I still think I did the right thing. He's like, me being with the other girl was a complete mistake. I admit that. But that's just what that is. The guy after him, that was just completely bad decision making on my part. Like, that was one of those things where I saw the red flags and just dove in because it felt good. Like, because when that guy came, he was giving me everything. And it was like I hadn't had this in so long. And I liked it. And it was like, I guess you could say it was almost like a drug where I was just feeding off of it. And I knew that I was like, this could end really wrong. But I'm so happy right now that I just want to feed off of this and just at least see what happens. That crashed and burned. That just really crashed and burned. So that was like, we really got into it really, really quickly, and it ended very ugly and quickly. So that was the last relationship.
Was that one abusive?
Not physically.
Emotionally?
It might have been emotionally. Might have been. We might have to like dig in deeper to see what could be emotional abusive.
Any verbal abuse?
No, he didn't like call me out my name or anything like that. But he was very like,
Mind manipulation.
Yeah.
Cat and mouse.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Give it to you, then withdraw.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you think it's going one place.
And he definitely made me feel like it was always my fault. Well, it's your fault. It was your fault. So when we broke up, I always had this idea that it was my fault because at the time that we were dating, I had got with him and I got a new job at the same, like those two things happened simultaneously. Well, I was interviewing for the job, and then when he came into my life, it was like I got the job, and so like I got a new job, I got a new guy, everything was on this big high. And I was trying to talk to him about it, and he would just never really open up. I'm like, what's wrong? Like, I can't even fix this if I don't know what it is. And it was, I don't know, I just remember everything was always my fault. And so when we broke up, he told me that it was my fault because I was never around. I put too much effort into my job and I never had enough time for him, blah, blah, blah. Needless to say, I found out he definitely cheated. He's married now to somebody.
Was that the last one? Or do you have another
Yeah, the
one?
last one. He's like, he got
Is this
married.
the last one that you ever had? The last
Yeah.
relationship?
Yeah, he's married now.
And so do you have you had any other relationships since him?
No.
What happens a lot of times is this. You made a mistake. Not a mistake. With the first guy, it was almost kind of like you decided, I'm going to hurt him because I need to choose me. Is that basically what had happened?
Yes.
You made a choice for yourself. But what ends up happening is, as a result of that, a lot of times we see the pain we cause somebody, and subconsciously we wait for our karma. And so we literally think, I know I'm going to get hurt because I hurt somebody.
I did that.
Yes. So we literally began to attract
I
somebody.
thought when that second relationship ended, because it was so abrupt, I always said, I think this relationship ended because of what I did to him.
Yes.
Like and to this day, I think sometimes I do still wonder, like, I wonder if that happened because I hurt that guy.
Yes, I know you do. This is the thing. Once you hurt him and you think you got yours coming, what used to be on the brand new rack at the store, the high price designer rack, we start moving it. We move it over to clearance. It's been on the rack for a while, I start marking it down. Notice the decline of your relationships happen. First of all, you hurt that other guy, and then you love this other guy, but you really didn't believe you deserved that level of happiness, because you knew this was even scarier, because everything was perfect, and you knew you had it coming. So it's like, this can't be real. I cannot believe that you didn't do some self-sabotaging in that relationship, because you didn't believe you deserved that. Everything perfect, no arguing, all of this other kind of stuff. I'm not saying it's just your fault, but I am saying that a lot of times we will self-sabotage because we don't believe we deserve it. So now, because see, we had moved from the designer rack. Now we go to another rack. After he hurts you, because we don't process the fear that we attracted. Because what you fear, you attract. You fear breakup. I fear that they're going to hurt me because I hurt them. So you attract that. It's a magnet. So now that you've been hurt, and then you say, wow, I don't even understand why I wasn't chosen. You didn't associate. You didn't associate with all of these feelings of fear. So now there's self-doubt. Let's really they have a sale on the clearance items. So then you had the sale on the clearance items, and that's when the abuser came in. And you notice how the abuser, he was already messed up. He was already on the sale item, and he was next to you, and he decided to make you regret and show you how low we are on this rack together. You did this to me. You did that. That's exactly what he wants you to feel. Bad. Because he hates himself. He didn't have the ability to love you. But then again, you didn't have the ability to love him either, if you were on the clearance rack on sale.
So I guess I definitely received that. I'm not going to rebuke that in any sort of way, because I'm definitely a really big believer of energy, and as I just said, I know when I'm happy with myself and confident, I attract certain things. So I can definitely receive that. So knowing this and coming to terms with it, and knowing that I am mid-30s, is there sunshine after this storm?
There is sunshine after the storm. Let me tell you something. What you need is image reconstruction. You need to know, first of all, that there is forgiveness. That if you believe in God, you need to know that He does not sit there and wait to pull a rug out from under you, that He loves you. And you can forgive yourself. That's where it starts. You have to start building love muscles. But the first love muscles you build is for your own self. You love yourself and not allow yourself to be beat up for the rest of your life for something you did that you decided, I can't love this man forever. This is just me being selfish because he's treating me right. It's all about me. And I don't have the love to give him back. And I'm going to make his life miserable. So you did him a favor, okay? You got to come to terms with that. Forgive yourself. Love yourself. Because the statistics show most black women don't get married until after they're 32 anyway. And so don't listen to all of the society stuff. It's a long thing that I probably don't have time to actually tell you about why the lateness of our society getting married.
Well, I
But-
live here, so y'all got time.
but you know what? Financially, a lot of times what happens is, I'm just going to say this because you need to know this. There's a big difference between what we go through in the African American community financially compared to some other races, especially in the Jewish race. At 13, they have their bar mitzvah. They are treated as an adult. So as an adult, what happens in that family is the reason why they're so successful and they have this look of success is because at 13 years they begin to give them money and finances and business responsibilities. Now, during that time, they fail. They school them, they tutor them, but you're under a very structured setting because you're in a household. So the risks are less. What happens is, for 10 years through college and all that, they get a chance to fail. Now we wait till we get out of college, start spending, Sally Mae chasing us down the street, and then it takes 10 years to recover off those financial things. So now we're about 33 before the black men, the black women can really say, I really afforded all this stuff. I didn't recover. Then it's erased off my credit. I think I'm financially able to do it. That's what we do. They had 10 years to play around with that money under their parents' roof. And then to be advised to say, oh no, that. So by the time they get out to 23, they're starting to say, who am I going to share this empire with? Let's start making this thing work. They start getting married at 26, 28. We start 32, 35, 37. Because we came, who gonna want all this?
Knowing that we start so much later, and I'm still financially trying to get it together, I'm okay with marrying later. That's not an issue. I want kids though. Like, I want to have children. And so, like, I'm worried about my biological clock, you know, and I know that fertility stuff is, you know, growing, and it's like, but that's another concern of mine as an African American woman that's dating. I don't want to be someone's baby mama, but I do want to, you know, have time. Like, I'm willing to do the whole dating process, you know, go through that, whatever it takes to get married. But then I'm like, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, this biological clock is ticking. I got my period at 9, you know, so how much longer are these eggs gonna last?
She count eggs.
Right. It's like
Time to freeze those eggs. So,
That's expensive.
I understand.
I've researched it. I'll talk about it later.
Here's the thing. A lot of times what happens is because of that anxiousness, we give away our pot of stew. Okay? In the Bible they talk about Esau, Jacob. They came in, Jacob had it wasn't nothing but a pot of stew. But it was real. When you starving, you wanted, you needed. His brother came in. He devalued his entire inheritance birthright for that pot of stew. Men, there are 2 things that they can't do themselves. Birth those children, and I won't say the second thing because they can't have sex with themselves a lot. There's so much stuff, crazy stuff. But anyway, it's a alternative. But the childbirth,
where you going?
that's 2 things that they want. Am I right? The men they want to continue their posterity. And so what I'm saying to you is, when we give away that bowl of stew, we give our birthright for a bowl of stew. Now where's your leverage? Where's your power? Do you understand? We just give it without any demands. Now, if you're okay with being a single mother, that's one thing. I don't have a problem with that. But a lot of times, a man, because of your anxiousness, what I find is they will say, "I want a child from you, but I don't want you."
that's not an option.
But a lot of women will voluntarily do that when they want to be in a committed marital relationship, but because they feel like my time is clicking, maybe this is how I get them. Well, actually, if that's what he really wants, that's what you don't give him without a commitment.
It's like we got engaged. Mary Mary has a song, and one of the verses talks about I got engaged. I took the ring and acted like I do without the ceremony. And she was like, now I'm 22 and all the little ones and all that. I guess it's what you want, you'll go after.
Absolutely.
You know, and
That's different from the single mothers who just happen to,
Right.
you know, that's a whole different story. But I'm talking about some man who convinces you, who sits in on purpose, and you beyond 16 years old, and they convince you to let's go and just have my child.
God will restore your youth if you do it the way He asked you to. And so for me, I'm okay either way. I don't know how anybody else is like. Do you have any children?
No.
So we're the three down here without kids. Like, how you beat me to having a kid? Anyway, I'm a stealer.
My little cousin beat me.
And I mean, it's okay. But I'm okay with, for me, being with having kids, without having kids. Like, I'm not going to jump off the roof if I don't have any children. And I recognize that when I was married in the past, we were struggling to conceive. Thank you, Jesus, for not allowing that. Hallelujah. Anyway, y'all think I'm kidding, but I'm not. Yolanda over there about to take her earrings off like, yeah, because she knows deeper stories. But it's, Pastor would pray for infertile couples on New Year's Eve. And so we were like, oh, okay, well, we'll do that. You know, we want kids. And when we came down and we saw these women literally falling apart, I felt like I shouldn't be in the line. Like, they were devastated. They had lost children. They had miscarried. They just never got pregnant, whatever those situations were, but they were completely devastated. That wasn't my story. And so for me, that's not a issue, you know. I don't know if my friend guy wants more kids or not, because his kids are grown. I don't know how you feel about starting over, you know, but I think you make a good point. That's not an option, period. So he can't, you know, remember Beverly Hills Cop, you won't get me with the banana in the tailpipe. You won't get me with that. Literally. Fred Woods, everybody. So, shifting a little bit,
Can I ask her if she was open for adoption?
I am so open for adoption. I have some of my friends in the past have been adopted. So I've been, actually as a child, I've always wanted to adopt. Like, ever since I've known of the idea of adoption, I always said I was going to have my kids and then I was going to adopt. And I do public relations, so one of the clients that I do work with is an adoption agency. So even working with this adoption agency and knowing that so many black children don't get adopted, like there are so many black children that are waiting to get adopted, and most of them get adopted by white families because black people aren't willing to adopt them. So I am definitely willing to adopt.
You are somebody's, somebody's prayer.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when I said it and I watch you light up like that, you are absolutely somebody's prayer, some child. And so literally, if you're on hold, don't, things come, don't decide there's only one way. You get on the GPS, they tell you route 2 or 3. One might take 3 minutes longer than the other, but you know what I'm saying? But right. But when you have a heart, it's already in your heart to say, oh my God, I love adoption. That is God's design. That's how He adopted us into His family. He loves that. So for Him to put that spirit in you is awesome, awesome, awesome. I love that you love adoption.
What is the oldest child that you adopt?
Fred's trying to get off his kid.
I don't know. It's probably you can't take a teenager because you know they be set in their ways, but I am an aunt. I have in total I have 5 nieces and nephews. 2 of them live in Mississippi. 2 of them are here. My oldest is actually in the Marines. I can't believe that boy is in the Marines. But anyway, my 2 youngest, Kayla and Timothy, I treat them like my kids. They don't have a mom. Like, my brother's wife passed away in 2011. So even though I'm not their mom, and like, you know, they have my mom, They have their other grandmother. They have my brother. You know, but I always like try to be there for them. Like, okay, we're gonna go somewhere. Like, we got them this weekend, and I have my friend's dog. I'm like, okay, I'm bringing the dog over so y'all can play with the dog, and I got the kids. And we're gonna do this. Even when they get on my nerves. You know, my nephew told me the other day in Target, he's 11. He's gonna put his arm around me. He's gonna say, Vanessa, you know it's okay if you don't get married, right? Marriage is not meant for everyone. I was like, little boy, you are not going to speak that into my life. I don't know who you think you are. I'm like, I'm in Target, like, you are not going to speak that into my life.
Does
like,
he have all his teeth? Or?
Yeah, my hand did this for a second, and I was like, I'm in Target, I'm with some people, they looking at me. I was like, little boy, you ain't going to speak that into my life. I don't know who you think you talking to.
I know that's right.
But yeah, that did happen to me. I almost knocked his teeth out that day. I still love him though.
If I can, I want to use the eggs that God gave me. I really do. I really love children. I really want to have children. I pray that I get twins because I'm older, so it could be a one-stop shop. So that is my hope and hope and prayer. I know a lot of children need to be adopted. I just really want to have my own kids.
And you know what? So you should stay right there. But you're a nurse, right?
I am.
So tell me about as a nurse, you understand medically what some alternative things that you could do to still have children, right?
My doctor, it's funny you should say that. So my doctor I just talked to her and I was like, hey, it was my annual visit and I'm like, what do you think? What's the chances I'm turning 40 in 2 weeks? What do you think? Should I, pray a lot harder for this husband to come or what? And she was like, she's like, you're very healthy. You're working out. You really don't even look the age that you are. And I was like, okay, so what are we saying here? Like, I'm for real. What do I need to expect? Give me the good, bad, and the ugly. And she's like, well, honestly, my primary care physician had just came back from maternity leave. She's 49. Wow. So she had just had a baby. And she told me that the first one that she had was at 43. And I said, did you have any difficulties, with the pregnancy, And I'm thinking, yeah, she's a physician. She had to do some tricks. Something happened. And she said, no, they just monitor her closely because of her age. Took a lot of more prenatal tests to make sure the kids didn't have Down syndrome or any other birth defects. But she said it's okay. So she made me breathe for a second, but when you're sitting on this rock and you're like, Boaz, where you at? It's just, I don't know. But you know what I did want to hang out at? Let's go back to that value thing and being back on the sales rack. So I think a lot of times you do attract what you feel. Now in my eyeballs, and this is crazy, I have had people, a lot of men tell me this, on Facebook perhaps. I'm a social butterfly. I will have men like get in my inbox and they'll be like, oh, you look too happy, you be out here doing too much, because I like to go. I like to travel. I like to enjoy my family, my friends. Like, I just like to do things and enjoy life. So I have had people tell me like, you're doing too much. I get a lot of, you are too outgoing. Maybe not that you're not conceited, but like you just appear. I keep saying high maintenance. Like
Who are those people? They do not need to be in your inbox.
I know they don't, but I get that a lot, and I'm like, okay, so it's obviously I'm not giving off that I have low self-esteem. I have been told, they say you're not stuck up. It just seems like you have a lot of personality, and I said
that's a good thing.
Yeah, I said, so when did that become a bad thing? So I'm kind of lost here, because if I'm not giving men like, oh, woe is me, she feels bad about herself, and I'm not giving you a spirit of conceit, it's just like bubbly. She's, energetic. So what's wrong with that, and when did that become a bad thing?
Speaking for the men,
Okay.
we can be trifling. Men look for women who are low self-esteem, who down, who ain't got nothing going by. You outgoing, personality, you like, hey, life of the party. They going, oh, she ain't the one.
Like the pimp game.
I need to have that woman who just, yeah, And we're like, because you got some vultures out there. They be like, really? Unfortunately, I got a brother like that, but that's another story.
I have been turned down several times because of that reason.
Because you have it together. They don't like that. Some brothers don't like it. They find that as a threat. She bubbly, she personal, she's outgoing, she's social. That's what you want to be with. They want somebody to be staying at home, talking about themselves, feel bad about themselves, because then they go, yeah.
That's the man you want. That don't mind putting in the work. That wants to get to know you. Of course he wants to be with you in that way, but at the same time he wants to get to know you. And if he's resisting off of your so-called hardness, you already know what time it is.
We have a similar story where it's, and Fred, we have a running joke that Fred tries to sell me every edition of Viral Mix. Call into the show, I can get you a date with Tasha. It's a joke. See, he's a jerk. But he kind of broke it down for me because I was like, what? I'm pretty cute. I can read stuff. What's the problem? And it was very similar to what you said. He was like, but look, he said, you not high maintenance, but you appear high maintenance. He said, think about it. You said, Fred, you walk out of your own home, you get into that dang BMW. But people just make assumptions. And when I had a different money set, my hair's still cute. But I always had it spiked up, and you know what I'm saying? And before I broke my foot, I was always in heels. So people make assumptions, but it's reflective. My cousin is my pastor. Shout out to Cosmopolitan Community Church, right? He talked about, I can't call his name right now, David, and how he was getting ready to fight Goliath, and how his brothers and the other people in the army were kind of like, who is this shepherd boy? He said basically what happened was they were talking all this crap. He said, but his willingness to fight this giant exposed what they weren't doing.
Yep.
Your bubbliness, your wonderful personality exposes them for the BS they were going to come to you with. As Gerald said, they know they can't run that on you. It won't work. And so then, unfortunately, you kind of have to sit and, I don't mean sit at home twiddling your thumbs. I don't mean that with your finger in your ear. But I do mean waiting it out. And I feel you on the patience. I have asked God for patience, and he has ran me a gang of jokes this week. This week. I was like, for real? Like, I posted it today. Like, ha, Jesus, ha. That's how you feel today? Fine. But I asked for patience. It ain't easy, but I'm right there with you. We the same age. So I hit you at 40 in September. So I'm like, and I want some kids. And I'm not as prone to adoption, not because of, my brother was adopted and we grew up like blood siblings, but I know there were some issues that were not exposed when my father and his first wife brought him home. And I was like, oh, y'all won't get me state of Illinois. No.
Right.
So that's just me.
And you have the experience.
Yeah. But I think that's important. I don't want to ignore Gerald and Yolanda. I do want to get some input from them about the marriage piece, what that's like.
Feeling comfortable. When we first met, I did not want to go to the party. I really had no interest in going. My cousin wanted to go, and I said, okay, we're going to go. And it was because he was not pushy. He came up and he was like, hi, how you doing? And I was like, what? Tasha knows, I tell the story all the time, like, what? And we danced in the same vicinity. He wasn't pushy. He didn't, how some guys would come up on all in your space? He wasn't all in the space. But he stayed right there. We were all dancing because we house heads.
Yes, you are.
And that, I was attracted to that because he wasn't that typical guy all up on you, all in your space, all, being free. He wasn't like that. And so we danced the rest, 2 hours later before we like, well, what's your name? Who are you? And so, Papa, who this woman? But it was that I was, now mind you, I wasn't looking. I had got to the point I was like, you know what, I'm done. I got 3 kids. No one is going to want me because I have 3 kids. So I had that in my head, like, okay, that's it. And then we met, and there was not even that expectation of, I didn't have that expectation of we're gonna get together. When he said, "Well, would you like to go out?" and I was like, "Really? Let's see if he gonna call." And he planned it. We talked and we planned it, and I was like, "Oh, this guy is nice." Like, okay. And I had that. I'm waiting for the shoe drop because I have 3 kids. You know, I'm waiting and I'm waiting, and so I had to consciously make sure I pull back and not to sabotage. Now,
So important.
and I did, cause we broke up.
I remember.
Yes,
I ain't really like you for a minute. I'm gonna just tell you.
we
I
broke up.
understand.
We broke
I
up.
love you now.
But I think during that time that we weren't really apart though. It was out the blue. Like I did not even expect it. So it was out the blue that he proposed. Now we had talked about it, and
I had a ring. I had a
All
picture
right,
of
real
ring in my
quick
back pocket.
on the marriage thing. She was like, "Look, we're going on a couple of years here.
right,
Either you gonna or get off the pot. What you gonna do?"
right,
It wasn't just like, "Oh well, no." That was an ultimatum. Like, "What you gonna do, man? I've done this before. Where we going?"
right.
And I talked to some people. Like, "Yeah, she cool. I'm good with the kids. Yeah, we could do this." I've been 40-something single. Only person I lived with my brother for a second, and I let my mom stay with me for a little bit. I had never been in a relationship. Like, ooh, somebody moving in. Nah, you got to go. Look, it's the morning. You got to leave. That's not as close as you staying. You know. So it took a while, but it was like, cool. This is all right.
How long have you guys been married?
Let's see. Last November made 3 years.
Congratulations.
October.
Okay.
See,
October.
October 11th.
Hilarious.
Yes.
I was like, it was weird.
So,
I had a nice dress.
like he said, she said, "Hey, what are we doing? It's 2 years." At some point, is it okay to do that?
I strongly encourage it. Don't waste your life on somebody who has no desire to give a commitment to. Don't play the game. You know, the thing about it is, the first date is not to say, "Are you ready for marriage?" That's not the date.
Right.
But 3 years later ain't the date either.
Yeah.
So what you have to do, notice their story. It's all about transparency. It's all about safety, because a woman's greatest need is security. I have seen so many women self-sabotage, and I'm just saying, let me tell you something. Everything you have said, I just believe, see, anxiousness is fear. Impatience is fear. And so when you come there and you've been hurt and you don't trust, literally the emotional pain and physical pain are no different to the brain. It processes it the same. And so literally heartbreak feels like hot coffee. That's the feeling to your brain, hot coffee. And so usually when you touch a fire, you ain't trying to touch it again, right? But we got to go right back to love and touch it again. And so when we come, we be looking like, wait a minute, and that's natural. Okay, who are you? Because see, I ain't had these little Negroes who just showed up and lied to me. I will not be lied to again. I'm not a dumb woman. I'm a smart woman. I am a nurse. You come look like I ain't trying to have no foolishness. And so somebody else is frying in somebody else's grease, okay? And so what I'm saying is they come in like, what's this? You're happy, but maybe not necessarily at that date all the time. Because if you're impatient and you're guarded because you've been hurt, they're thinking somebody else is making her happier than me too. Do you understand? Because you have to come with some guardedness. You have to protect, but at the same time, there's nothing to protect right now. Just let it flow. As soon as she relaxed, as soon as the women relax and just say, you know what, it ain't going no faster than I'll let it go. This car ain't gonna get, this train ain't gonna get out of control, because love is a decision, not a feeling. If it's a feeling, honey, she wouldn't have lasted 3 years. I wouldn't be lasting for 34 years. Because like I always say, sometimes I want to bop my husband over the head. But I love him, okay? I love him, and I ain't gonna bop him one day. I ain't in 34 years. I ain't never bopped them. But the feeling,
Feeling.
the feeling. Do you understand? And so what I am saying is, I just know inside of you, those type of men will taint you. They will make you, because you're a smart woman. You're assessive. You have been trained to assess. I can tell. You assess situations. And when you assess, you are watching and you are seeing. And so you looking at them like,
With that look.
what the look?
The roles are changing, and it's really crazy. I met this guy. I went out probably 2 weeks ago. We exchanged numbers, and he called me the first time, and it was just like an instant need to be complimented. I have no problems with complimenting my man. I think that's my job. You know, when we're together, we compliment each other. But if I just meet you, and on the first call, you're like, well, tell me something good. What did you like about me? Was I attractive? You know, I was on the phone like,
You're
What?
dating
With
Donald
that
Trump.
face.
yeah,
That's
with the face.
Donald Trump. Yes,
They always
he
tell me
needs to
my
be-
face should tell everything, and I'm like, hold on,
Big crowd.
I just met you, and I said I don't have a problem. I'm a very uplifting person. I said, but I just met you. Why do I need to already boost your ego on day one?
Because it's under his shoe.
Right now, I've been celibate. So I've been like deliberately celibate to kind of just, for a number of different reasons. I mean, some of it has to do with the dating thing, and some of it has to do with just overall personal, professional development. Like, you know, so I have found that being celibate, as much as, you know, you think is going to scare everyone away, it's a very great weeding out process. Like, I actually do have people that's like, okay, that's what you're doing. I understand. Like, there's actually men out there that's like, I get it. And it's kind of refreshing. I mean, it is a vow of discipline, more so, you know, on my part is like, and then when I tell them, like, it's not like I'm trying to discipline you, or this is a punishment against you. Like, this is all about me, you know. And I was like, it's easier to date too. I found being celibate.
First 6 months, you're on chemicals anyway. It's just a high. That's what's running through you to boost that love thing. So if you never get to the point where you are making choices, conscious choices, and you rushing off to marry somebody, and you on you on the chemical drugs that come through, the Seroquin and you know, all of that, that's love chemicals running through your brain. And so when you stop though, when all that wears off, then you see that person for real. And that's when you make a choice. Can my love cover that?
Can you talk more about love covering? Because we're familiar with it, but can you talk more about it?
Absolutely. And I say that for single people, that is one of the biggest things questions you will ever have to ask yourself. And you've got to be honest. We've all been wounded in some way at some point, and usually by the time we're 19 years old. We have had wounds, whether it came from our parents, whether it came from abandonment, whether it came from rejection. Something has happened, or a relationship. Once those wounds happen, we put up defensiveness, some kind of wall, or we walk around with them, and depending on how deep they are, we might carry them for forever. Now, if we don't on purpose try to be healed, when we see those wounds after the cloud, and we see, okay, this person had a very controlling mother, and because of such a controlling mother, they were afraid to tell the truth. So they made a habit out of lying. And so they lie for no reason. I don't even know why they lied. I mean, I might ask them, did you just bring the bread home? And they say, yeah, it must have been, the dog must have taken it back outside or something. Why you do that? Why you need to, and then so you start thinking, well then if they lie on this, they must be probably got a whole nother family somewhere. Then if the person has had a situation where they are an alcoholic or a drug addict parent, what ends up happening, there has been so much, you don't know when things might kick off. They say they came in drunk and they would fight or something. You don't know. You live on anxious, like, what's going to happen? The drug parent, you don't know if you're going to have lights. You don't know if you're going to have heat. It was always survival mode. You didn't know what was going to happen. And a woman's greatest need is security. So what you do, you start trying to control things. You become this controlling woman. Like, I don't want anything to ever happen. And so now this man is feeling control. Like, whoa, what? And we don't know how to shift from mother to wife, which is two distinct roles. We stay in that mother role because that's how we control. And so they start feeling like a child rather than a spouse. And so all of that control comes a lot of times from substance abuse homes. And so if you have somebody like that, or you're about to marry, you need to look at that and say, this is what this is. Don't hide your head in the sand. Look at that and say, can my love cover that? My father came from a very abusive home where his father was put guns up to his mother's head and all this other kind of stuff. My mother came from a great loving home where she was like prayed for her, and she was the love child of her family. So, and her father would bless everybody and everything. And so, but my mother's love covered my dad where he was able to be secure again, where he used to be called Blackie and ugly and all that. And I saw how love can cover and love can heal. And then she was insecure because they were really poor. His love, he spoke all the time about how much he loved her and how he was faithful to her and everything. And I saw her, and she'll never be as he know it today. But my love don't cover that. My love don't cover you put your hand on me. I live on the 21st floor, right on the lakefront. You'll see my husband on Lakeshore Drive. Because let me tell you something. Let him think about looking like he might be thinking about almost touching me. But he's never done that. That's not our relationship. My love don't cover that. Huh?
We'll pass the hat to your bell. We got you.
But my love don't cover that. But you know what it will cover? It covers the fact that his father had to self-medicate because his mother was so verbally abusive and aggressive. I'm able to love him and reassure him, and through the years have helped to heal that part of him. My love can cover that. And through just being kind, like my dad had to deal with, I've been able to do that. Because his father was a totally functional alcoholic and his mother was so emasculating and everything, he came in with different things. But my love was able to cover that. But he also had a heart for the men who were in the alleys and a sincere love. And his love taught me to love people who can't do anything for you. He's that type who will be sitting there texting a guy and say, you can do it today. And he does. He sits there and encourages the men, love your wives today and this and that. And he's one-on-one. And I learned that's what I learned in the relationship. And so what I'm saying is, when you're looking to see these people, they're going to all come with faults. That's why you can't be super critical. See, everybody working on something. You working on something. And so but just don't go to the something you can't cover.
Right.
Don't go to the something you can't cover. You're anointed and appointed to administer healing love. You're not just a nurse. And let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you, first of all, when a lot of times when we choose our professions, that is actually a little bit of an indication of what we're going to do. There are men who are hurting that you actually can cover, that you would be sensitive to emotionally, and that your joy would actually be a healing force to them. And so you got to understand that everybody's not going to come and meet you at the same joy level. Everybody's not going to come to you and meet you at the same, if everything's okay level. But that's okay. Long as they adore what you are. They come and say, wow, I love your joy and I appreciate it. That's you, minister. Go in there and minister just like you do through that hospital. That's what you do.
Very concerned about Black love. Like I am I'm very concerned about, is that a real thing? Will it last? And the reason I say that is because, like, when you hit on the point about how we wait a little bit longer, I think it's getting longer than that. Because, like, I'm even talking to guys that are 40s and, you know, in their 40s and still trying to play the game. You know, like, I'm not ready to settle down, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, what are you waiting on? Like, what is
Most
it? What's
of
out
them
here?
men have been hurt. Most of those men have been hurt by somebody in their younger years. They have trust issues. Those, let me tell you, I say this all the time. Everybody who follow me know what I'm about to say. A lot of times in grammar school, women like yourself, similar to what you did, they will. The guys will come because they have this love for their mother, okay? So they come in there, you know, not all of them. I ain't talking about all of them. But there's some of them. And they come in there, it's really sincere. Like, I'm really being sincere about, you know, this woman. Come in, talking to them, and, you know, I'm trying to give up foster, trying to be the gentleman. And the friends of the girl, and so they're influenced, they hear, he too nice. And they go with the bad boy.
Boom.
They go with the bad boy. Break their heart. And men don't recover from that like a woman.
Talking about is black love. There is.
I mean, I know,
Here. But it's intentional.
but that's what I mean.
My thing. Okay, I love my husband.
Yeah.
And you know how you may meet some couples and they'll talk down about the marriage and talk down about negativity about their husband or their spouse. Now, yeah, when Mother Love says about sometimes when I bop her, there are times I be like, oh Jesus, but I can't see us not together. And my love is intentional. Now I know there's some things I get on his nerves. He tells me, "You crazy, you crazy." He tells me that, but that's how we talk to each other. But it's that love. It's that love in our house. When you walk through across our threshold, you know that there is love between us, and I make it intentional.
But I feel like I know that it's there, but I'm not saying that it doesn't ever happen. What I'm saying is I'm starting to see a fall off rate of black people getting married. Like, I feel like you guys are the exception and not the rule. And it used to be a point where you were the rule and everything else was the exception. Like, it's being more acceptable that people don't get married. It's more acceptable that the guy gets, you know, he chases the hustle and the girls and what have you. Like, Kanita just was about to say, she tapped on it really quickly, and I heard you. Like, we live in this pop culture society where it's glamorized that, you know, you have 8 girls, you get the money, you do this, and unfortunately, I do think that I worry about it. Like, I worry about the state of black love. I think black women, and I have optimism. Like, despite what I see, I'm like, that's not my story, you know. But I do worry about us as a collective whole as to, you know, will we get married? Will we continue this black family? Because I'm seeing it fall off. I'm seeing
Actually, the statistics show differently. The statistics show that marriage rate is higher than it's ever been in a lot of years. And it also shows that at least 77% of black women are married by the time they are like, I think it's 30s, no, it's in the 40s or 50s. Most have been married at least once. So they get in, some fall off, but at least once. And I can't remember the exact statistic, but the state of black love actually has begun increasing. Marriage has, and so it's up in society as a whole. It doesn't feel like it maybe, but a lot of times what happens is we just like we say, it's not a lot of black men out there. Actually, the disparity is only like 8%. And I'm talking about, I ain't even counting the men in jail. It's like 8% between black women and black women compared to black men. So the statistics do not play out what society says. And that's important because you got to see it in order to get it.
I think you're right, and I think it's important that we pay attention to our sources. And I know you're in PR, so you already know. But a lot of times we can be oversaturated with Facebook posts or, reality TV. And then we begin to kind of drink the Kool-Aid. Fred posted the other day, do you think there's a shortage of good black men? And I put emphatically no. There is a shortage of people healing between relationships. And so you might catch them at that space where they ain't ready. That don't mean they're a horrible guy. I tell people all the time, me and my ex, we didn't work out. I won't go into his issues because we're recording. But he ain't horrible. You know what I mean? And so there was some issues. And you actually touched on one of them. And I kind of looked at Yolanda like, where were you at? In 2006 though. Anyway, that's why you're gonna be around for the next one. It's important that we don't really believe the hype because this is, for some reason it's beneficial. I ain't researched why to tell the black woman, these black men ain't out here. They ain't no good. They out doing A, B, C, D, E, and F. I'm not sure what that purpose is because, that's why I have the Why I Love the Black Men Chronicles, which I need to update soon. Because there's so many attacks just on them. And then we need them to come home and lead our homes. That becomes difficult, particularly if we ride and drink the Kool-Aid and then start attacking them when they get home. There's no, as you mentioned at the top of the conversation, safe space. What are some of your, because we way over. I don't care, but I don't know what y'all got to do.
Nothing, unfortunately.
I love
that's why I'm here.
But I do that tomorrow.
Right. I need to go with you. As a married couple, what advice would you all give?
Talk. Never knew about communication. She was like, there's something going on. Talk to me. Because as a man, I'm going to handle this. I'm going to take care of this. I ain't got to worry about it. It's two people, two to tango. You gotta understand that there's somebody there who's willing to work with you, and it's not just on you. It's us. It's not just a me handling this. We handling this. Because we don't talk, man.
Putting it all on the women and saying they do it to all of them because they chose the bad guy. He was already bad. So it's obviously it's a bunch of them out there. But I'm talking about the good ones. So a lot of times what happens is they tainted it because inside of their heart they feel less than. And this is not just little girls. This is adult women too. They literally, because they don't feel good about themselves, when you come and treat them really good, it becomes uncomfortable because you're telling them stuff that's not in the subconscious. You're saying, you're marvelous. You can do that to a guy. And they won't respect you because it don't match what's in their heart. This goes both ways. I'm just, because I'm talking about, but if you're saying, you know what, I just think you're beautiful. I think you're this. I think you're that. If you're not careful, they literally will not respect you because they're like, there's something wrong with me, I know. Because my daddy went off with other people and they haven't resolved why. They don't know why they're disposable. And it's still down in them. And as you're telling them, I can love you forever, they don't believe it because they haven't resolved who they are. And so they will push you, sabotage you, not overtly, but just their heart can't do it. Just like you said, I was waiting for the rejection. So I had to push them away because you have to limit test. Like, I'm going to reject you before you reject me. Because see, those 10 men that say, I can't deal with no 3 kids. That hurt every one, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. You felt every 9 rejection. And then you saying, I know this guy, this women, like they say, if you're 40, I can't. I have so many black women who get married over 40.
Yay.
You can't get married if you have 3 children. Lie.
I didn't tell him, beat it over his head. I talked. So I showed him, I mirrored to him how we need to be with each other. And still do. And for me, I felt safe, but because I was a mother first, in control, I had to make sure everything was taken care of. I had to allow him this wonderful quality of him doing nice things for girls. Well, he still did that for me. I had to allow him to
Oh,
do
wow.
that because I didn't have to take care of everything. I had to allow him to feel comfortable and not make him feel like I was pushing him away, like, oh, I got it. And that was something we had to learn with each other. And that went to with the talking and the communication. And I told him, I've always had to do it. So I didn't know how to let him, I didn't want him to feel like I couldn't do it. He was like, I know you can do it. Allow me to do it. So yes, I allow him to do these things, and I love it. I love it. It's the simple things. Like now.
But allowing him to do it is not easy if you don't have a history of trust that men will step up to the plate and do it.
Yeah.
If you've been raised in, and I'm not saying that's your story, but if you've been raised in a home where, and you've been in a series of relationships where men won't take care of their kids after they have them, they wouldn't take care of you after they had you, and you ain't seen no men step up to the plate to say, oh, I have 3 children that I love, adore, and everything to me. Here, you go ahead and step up to the plate. Now I'm going to kind of control this thing and see what you're going to do. It ain't easy to let go. And it's if you were raised by a super single mom too, who had like this one right here, who can do everything she needs to do, then you just be like, whoa, I can handle this with my eyes closed. And then the man say, but I want to help handle it for you. Then you so in mother mode until you can't transition into wife mode. Then you treating everybody in the house like a child. Then they like, wait, first I'm on the same level as the children, and you mothering me, you mothering the whole house. I'm not. You don't see my role, but you didn't ever see the role. Anyway, what is the role? I've had many women. They had generations. What's the role of a man? I don't even know what a man does in the house. And that's the truth. I've had women say that. And so what I'm saying, I'm not saying this is your story, but I'm just saying I'm seeing a lot of that where when you say take your hands off, that's a faith walk for some women. For a lot of women, that's a faith walk.
We'll wrap so that y'all not here another 2 hours.
You had one more thing to say.
Right.
Oh, you know what? You'll get a touch on this. Going
No,
back
it's
to the dating.
I'm okay. I just don't want y'all to feel like
don't
y'all
shoot.
gotta stay.
No, we good. Don't worry about it. So dating has really changed in this new millennium. What? Like so much. I got 2 questions that we just got to touch on, but let's start with the first one. What are your thoughts on meeting young people just regularly and computer dating? So because since I've turned, this is another thing about my 40 journey, everybody is throwing this computer dating.
Online dating.
Online. Sorry, it sounds, that do sound old. Online dating. It did sound old, didn't it? It sounds like a little, you can see a little Tandy computer. Right? Okay, so online dating. I'm sorry.
That's my MySpace, right?
Yeah. Wait a minute, hold on. People meet people off MySpace still.
Oh.
Yeah, they still doing it. And they open up. Because remember, Black Planet started off just like as
right.
now they're meeting people on Black Planet.
Yep.
So they might open up to MySpace. We don't know. But my thing is they're trying to push this towards me, and I'm like, why can't I meet somebody down the street or at the coffee shop or mowing my grass or something? What is there? Do you feel like true love is more so found just walking down the street, or what are your thoughts on this online dating? Because I just don't feel it's natural. Now that's just me.
I really have strong views on that.
Pass that. Wait, because I like your view.
I am an absolute fan of online dating, and I'm gonna tell you why. The reason why I'm a fan of online dating, and I didn't meet my husband online or anything because it wasn't no computers back then, and so, but the reason why I'm a fan of online dating is because you get to vet the jerks that you found. You get to the ones that lie and pretend. See, if I was single and had online dating, I would have so much research on you before I ever gave you my number. See, online dating, you don't even get as close to Facebook. Facebook, they still get some circles and interactions and friends and stuff. But online, you don't have to give them anything but a picture. They don't have to have your cell phone number. They don't have to have anything. You can put a fake name. You know what I'm saying? Like just like a Facebook type of name that's not yours. And I'm a person who is prayerful. So I would be sitting there and I would say, okay, Lord, interacting, talking. That keeps me from celibate. Me and the computer ain't doing nothing with that. So I'm celibate. I be prayerful and watchful, asking questions and talk and take my time. Then, until I felt a release, like, okay, I think we might want to meet for coffee, not no full-blown date. Then I would take it very slow as I could. Now, you're going to find 10 crazies for every one. And maybe twice, maybe 20 crazies for one. But you're going to find that she had 9 crazies before she found her one who loved children, right? Okay? I'm not saying you have 10 crazies. But I'm just saying, walking down Michigan Avenue, I don't really want you that close in my space if I don't know you. Just that quick. You understand? That seems more dangerous to me than the other thing. The biggest way that people find love is actually friend referral. My name is Love McPherson. You can reach me on my website at www.loveinfinityinc. That's infinity with a Y at the end. Loveinfinityinc.com. And also on social media everywhere, just look for Love McPherson. So official Love McPherson, my Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, all of that. You can find me. I have videos. I have all of that. So that's how you can find me. And you can schedule sessions. I do one-on-one. I have had a lot of success of people getting married. Fred says I'm one of the reasons why he's getting married soon.
So thank you all for coming out. Clearly, we need to do a part 2. So let's everybody look at our
We got
calendar.
1 and 2 in this one.
Right. Okay, so 3 and 4.
Series.
Man, because it was amazing, and I'd like to get more of the male perspective. So, like I said, life happened to the other 2 gentlemen, but at a later time, I'd like us to reconvene. Love real busy, but we can set it up. So, thank you for tuning in to A Vibrant Mix with Tasha, Tamiko, and Fred, live from TLC Talk Radio. Yay!